and you're watching ESA. So my name is Jason Webb. I'm originally from Cape Town. Moved up to Johannesburg middle of this year. As there's more sort of shows and events that happen up here, it's better for my career as wanting to be a drifter for my career. So I made the decision to move up to Johannesburg and do what I love most, which is drifting. And yeah, drifting is basically something else compared to any other motorsport that I've done. I came from a background of go-karting, and once I moved to drifting, it was like a drug. It just hooked, and I just stayed, and yeah. Yeah, so middle of 2010, I met Otto Graven. At the time, my father was working for him, building his cars. And I was really influenced by the way he was driving. I was really impressed. So he was looking for someone to train. So about August 2010, I moved up to Kimberley, and we trained for 3-4 months non-stop. Entered my first competition February 2011, and I finished second. And then from there I decided to push hard. Won my first championship in 2013, and now another one this year, 2015. Beginning of the year was a bit tough. We had a few problems with the cars, engine braking, suspension braking. But from round 5 of the series, I won every round since then. So I won four races in a row. So yeah, it was a good comeback from out of the top 10 in the beginning of the year. So I think the biggest achievement this year was winning the 4 races in a row. The journey is always good. I mean, we travel the country, so you see new things. I mean, this year we had a new venue, Port Elizabeth. Amazing venue, amazing crowd, and amazing place to drift at. I mean, right on the beach at Aldo Scribanti, and the track was fast. I mean, we were entering there at 147 kilometers an hour, which is quite fast, knowing that you're going to pull the handbrake, especially when you're about not even less than a meter away from a car in front of you, which is also exhilarating. So I think PE was definitely, the highlight of the year. So basically the only time we get drift practice is at the events, especially in my car. I do a lot of shows, so I drift in other cars, but it's still not the same as my cars. My car is set up for me. But every track we go to, we have 8 rounds during the year, so we normally have Friday practice, so we practice the whole day. We change the whole car according to the track, each different track, and according to my driving style on the day. So we really only get practice in my car, I would say maybe 3 hours in a month, which isn't much. That's including the competition, so it's not really much. Well, there's a few people, definitely Wade van Zimmerman. He's one of the big contenders that I've been challenging this year, as well as Shane Goodside. He's really coming up. And as well, Mike and Jim, they're really competitive, and they really want to push the sport. So I would love to drive against them on those tracks. But yeah, definitely Wade and Shane would be the most competitive guys. In this country at the moment, there's not really any perks of being a professional athlete. We haven't got to that stage where you can actually make a living off motorsport in this country. But I think we'll get there. We need to first aim to drive overseas and bring the international drivers over here, so we can actually show what potential we got, so that we can also live like how they live overseas, which is the goal that I want to be at, is making a living off drifting. I think the only thing I do is drifting. Yeah, I don't really do. I play soccer now and then, but anything extreme, not anything extreme. I've been having a lot of fun with the drift trucks, especially with the guys from Gravity Truck Sliders, Steven and Darren. It's still not growing as big as they want it to grow. But I think if a lot of guys get involved, which I think they're going to, they want to try push the events more and more, Especially getting venues is quite difficult because we have to do it on public roads, as our racetracks don't have the elevations that you need to get speed on a drift track. So it's also about, you know, municipalities getting involved and all of that kind of stuff. And then obviously the first 3-4 events are going to be tough. But then obviously once sponsors start noticing the triking and the series, then they'll start getting more and more involved. So since I joined extreme sports in, let's say 2011, it was small, it was tiny. I mean, it was a lot of guys, but you know, spectator-wise, it was also quite big, but it sort of died down, and it's almost like people, they sort of lost hope in extreme sports, as we don't have really extreme sports in this country. We do have some freestyle motocross, but we only have a handful of riders. But especially with the Super Drift series from 2011, it's just grown, and Mike and Jim are doing a really good job with growing the series, which is what's good. They're not just worried about making money straight away, which is what most people do. They're trying to grow the series first. So they're doing really well with that. And also, if I can see improvements, it would be with, you know, going on bigger television series like Super Sport or something like that. So yeah. So I really like Jap cars. I'm a Jap guy. I like the Nissan Skylines, the Nissan 200 SXs. I do have a Nissan 200 SX S13 that I have on the road that I use for my personal use, which is still completely standard. And then I've got my drift machine, which is a fully built S13, the Toyota 2JZ, Nissan 350Z gearbox, Nissan 350Z diff and side shafts. Myself and my dad and Malcolm are down in Cape Town. We built the car together, and you know, if I were to build a car, it would definitely be with them, because they know what I want, and they know how I like things, and they know how I like my cars. So they're very passionate about building cars and progressing cars. But if I were to build a car, it would definitely be a R33 Skyline. I started out drifting with one of those. But it was with a different team, so it wasn't my car. But yeah, I'd definitely love to build one of those. Well, my plans is to go drive overseas, do 4 or 5 events overseas. I plan to do a whole series overseas, but I'm just not sure which one yet. So I think we're going to leave our options open, do 1 or 2 different series, go to Europe, go to America, and try different things. It doesn't help jumping into one series and you don't enjoy it, so we'll first try a few of them. How I see myself in 5 years is driving overseas and making a living off drifting, you know. That's what I want to do, it's my passion, and yeah, I see myself on top, yeah. I'm on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. It's at WebbDrift45. And Facebook's just Jason Webb. Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Brendan Potter and you're watching ESA. Hey guys, my name is Brendan Potter, 24 years old, out of Muldersdrift, Gauteng, so on the west strand of Gauteng, and yeah, I ride freestyle motocross. I've been riding freestyle now for about 12 years. Most of those have pretty much been on my back with injury, as it goes with a sport of this nature. Injury is a part of it, but I take it as it comes. Basically, I met the track we had today is South Africa's #1 freestyle rider, the longest standing #1 rider, Nick de Wit. And yeah, I met him at a show we did out at the Dome and kind of asked him if we could come and ride, and the rest is history basically. Yeah. So the guys that hang out here are really friendly and inviting, and yeah, came here 12 years ago to learn, and I haven't left since. So obviously, as I mentioned, the place we're at now is my home track. So I've been here for about 12 or 13 years, and the track belongs to Nick de Wit, is one of South Africa's longest-standing freestyle riders. And basically, he's taught me most of what I know. And then between him and I, we've basically built a really good facility here. We've got a lot of guys that come and train, and then we're guys that I ride with are pretty much the next up-and-coming generation of riders here in South Africa. So there's a good group of guys. Some of them are here today, that all kind of chip in and help, and we keep the track going and practice and up our skill. And then there's one or two guys that I obviously learned with that are kind of making a career out of it and traveling and all the rest of it. So if anything, the young generation of the innovators, the guys making it happen. So standing in front of me, here's my bike. It's my baby, wife, child, everything. It's a KTM 450 SXF 4-stroke. Quite new to the 4-strokes actually. I've had this thing for, let me see here, 65 hours, so she's still quite fresh actually, but I've pretty much been 8 months on the 4-stroke, endorsed by KTM South Africa, so they're giving us a bit of a support deal. I've been riding KTMs now for probably 5 or 6 years, usually on the 2-stroke 250s. If anything, they standard motocross bikes, the SX range, and then as you can see here, we cut some holes into the bike for the grabs. That lets us hang off the bike at the back. We beef up the suspension and make it a little bit harder to take the impacts of the landing, and then just put the handlebars as per preference and set the bike up to how you like it. So when it comes down to the bikes, obviously it depends on where we're going. I mean, anything locally, I'll be riding my bike, and we'll transport it around with us, either on the truck or with us in the car when we're traveling. But for most shows or comps or anything that happens here in South Africa, the bike standing in front of me is the one that I ride. Obviously, you want to be comfortable on what you're riding, so you don't want to travel to Cape Town, for instance, and have a completely different bike to get used to. On the other hand, if we do travel or do any events overseas, generally what we do is we take the suspension and the handlebars, we put them into a rifle case or into a golf bag or something, and we fly it with us. So the intention is to try and set up your bike wherever you go around the world or around the country to exactly what you're practicing at home. So if anything, we'll stick to a KTM, and then like I say, I'll take my bars and suspension. That makes it mine. Obviously freestyle motocross is a very high impact sport. It speaks volumes on its own. So it's been growing here in South Africa since the beginning, since I was around 13, 12 years ago. If anything, with any sport, it needs the interest from the right people. So I'm quite proud to announce that in the past couple of years we've managed to get a good following, a bunch of new faces, young guys that are sort of keen to pick up where I'm kind of running with it. And like I say, there's a couple guys that are older generation, the guys that taught me how to ride, that some of which have made a career out of it and are slowing down. But the whole thing is to try and keep the sport alive in South Africa. And I'm pretty stoked to say there's a couple young up and coming guys that I'm hoping will fly the flag in the next couple of years. So we've got, like I say, a bunch of new faces hanging out at the track. Some of the guys are here today. We've got Jacques Human, one of the class clowns of the track. He's having a good time and messing around today. We've also got Llewellyn van Rensburg out from the East Strand, also one of the guys riding, very good up and comer. We've pretty much got separate teams, like the Institute FMX, so the guys out from the East Strand. Here in Fourways, we've got a team by the name of Jungle Rush FMX. Pretty much my biggest competition at the moment, Dallin Goldman, is over in Australia at the moment doing a whip comp. So like I say, the guys are there, the guys are eager to ride. It's just a matter of growing what we have behind us here, get a good facility, and keep the sport growing. Obviously always excited to be a part of Ultimate X. It's a really cool show. If anything, to me, Ultimate X is the biggest showcase of action sports in South Africa. Not just freestyle, it's for BMX, skating, action sports, extreme sports. So absolutely stoked to get the invite down for Ultimate X. Really looking forward to going to go ride in the Grand West Arena again under the roof, and hopefully chuck some flips and whips and stuff like that. But Ultimate X is basically, in my mind, what extreme sports in South Africa needs. The platform for athletes to not only improve their ability, but to show sponsors in the industry and the industry in the country. Get all the athletes together and show each other that, hey, we're upping our game. So looking forward to February. It's going to be great down in Cape Town. Yeah, so plans in FMX, basically short term would be, I've got my skill set up to a level where I'm confident I can go and compete and hopefully represent South Africa in the international stage. So short term would be to hopefully get on a jet plane and go over to Europe or the States and just try and better establish my name over there as a South African rider, with the intention of just trying to get South Africa back on the map for freestyle motocross. Mid-term goal would hopefully be to try and make a living out of the sport. If anything, 5 months is cool, 5 years is cool, 10 years is cool, but I mean, the longer I get to ride, the happier I'll be. So mid to long-term goal would be, like I say, to keep the sport alive in South Africa. So we've got the development days, the open days. We've had 3 of this year. We're going to be having a bunch of those next year, and the intention is to just keep the sport alive, keep the atmosphere and the vibe here. So long-term goals to develop a whole bunch of good riders from South Africa. So pretty interesting, but actually a second-time dropout from Tuck. So, sorry, Dad. But if anything, I've basically known since I was a little that this is what I wanted to do. So I'm pretty stoked that my family and I have a certain support structure now that allow me to ride. They support me, and basically this is every day of my life that you guys have witnessed today. Either we're down here digging holes and making the ramps and the landings right, or we on the bikes practicing and putting the hours in to learn the stupid stuff. So I'm hoping in the next year to develop what we have, what we've got going here, not only for myself to get out of the country and try and compete and put South Africa on the map, but as a whole to try and boost the sport in the country, involvement in the sport from a sponsor's point of view and from the athlete's point of view. And like I say, in the past year we're slowly achieving it, so just got to keep chipping at it. Okay, cool. So in South Africa, the circuit we have here unfortunately is not quite orientated to the competition, so there's not as much competition as I'd like, and obviously competition is what pushes riders to progress. So in my mind, that's one of the reasons why South African FMX is kind of lagged behind a little bit. But the new generation, I think it's no excuse. We don't have an excuse to not be on the top level. So lacking the competition side of things. Basically, what keeps freestyle alive in South Africa are open days, development days, like we've discussed and like we've had here this year. And if anything, the shows such as Ultimate X and stuff like that are great platforms for allowing us to show people, hey, there are South Africans that do this. So it's slowly building. We just gotta keep persistent and keep an eye on the ball. Yeah, it's mad to think Christmas is already like almost 10 days away kind of deal. So 2015 is officially almost behind us. It's been a really, really big year for me. I think personally, this was actually the year I decided that, I don't want to do anything else but ride bikes. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm not proud of it, but if you want to stick to your dreams, I've dropped out of varsity second time, and I knew, like I say, since 5-10 years ago, this is what I wanted to do. So it was a scary decision at the time, but if anything, I'm happy in my heart. I know I'm doing what I want to do. I'm pursuing my dreams. So I suppose if anything, just got to stick to your guns and do what makes you happy. Persistence is key. You got to focus on what you want and you got to work for it. That's the thing. Nothing comes for free.
I'm Ryan van der Spuy, owner of locally Webb magazine and now LW Mag online. I basically run the show, organise everything, the content that goes up in LW Mag, the features, the advertising, the way it runs, the events we do, and so on. So, LW Mag stands for Locally Whipped Magazine. We came up with the name because most of our content, all our content is 100% local. So the play on words with Locally Whipped is basically whipped on local culture, what we are, action sports, music, social lifestyle. So whipped on local culture. This started we started talking about it in 2003, 5 of us, a group of mates. We brought out the first print issue in 2005. None of us had any background of a magazine or how a magazine worked. It was just a dream of ours. We were all involved in action sports and wanted to start something, a publication that brought that to the public. So we started in 2005 with the first print issue. Prints for 5 years, moved completely online in 2010, and now 5 years later we're rocking. Started print in 2005, 2010, we saw that there was going to be a move in the industry in terms of the way online was picking up, how people were looking for content online, instead of looking in for print. So we took the step, saw that gap in the market, and decided to move online in 2010. It was a pretty scary concept then. Print was still big, and people like looking at a hard copy. But the problem is people also like news and content and videos and pictures straight away. So if an event happens on the weekend, by Monday they want to know what happened, see what happened and so on. With print you have the problem of people have to wait over a month until they see any of that. So we took the leap and moved in 2010 to the online version, and it's probably the best move we've ever made. I mean, we've more than quadrupled our readership since doing that, and it's still going from strength to strength. We've always had a niche market, and we built the brand since we started in 2005. So people know us as a action sports, music, social magazine, and we're probably one of the only ones in the country. You got guys that do surfing specific magazine or skateboarding specific, but we cover all the action sports, so motocross, surfing, wakeboarding, BMX, skateboarding, as well as the lifestyle comes with it, so the babes, the tattoos, the events, the music and so on. So I think from birth until now we've built quite a good brand, and we've got an awesome followership and readership. A lot of the brands that we deal with, like clients of ours, which are the core brands in the market, have stuck with us from the beginning through print to online and are still there. So, we just growing from strength to strength. In today's age with all the social media and things around that, it's easy to push our content out to the right readers, which is what we've done. So, we're just getting bigger and bigger. Action sports is probably, it's small in South Africa. It's just one of those things that always has been. It is growing though, because kids are able to push their content on social media. So skaters, BMXers, motocross riders, so on, can film their own videos, put it up, and it's growing. The market in terms of other kids can see it. It gets them involved in what's happening. There's a lot of events happening and cool sponsors that are coming on board, and they can see that they get a lot out of those sports. So in terms of that happening, it's growing it a lot. So we've been involved in this for 10 years now, and it's probably at the biggest at the moment right now. Skateboarding is massive in South Africa at the moment. BMX is following right behind that. Surfing has always been big. I think as also the sports grow, like motocross and freestyle motocross, is more expensive and more dangerous, so it's not as big, but it does get good coverage, and people love watching it. So that's there, and the riders, all the athletes across all the genres are trying to push as much as they can by holding events and so on. So I think as long as they keep doing that, and we get the right sponsors in and more coverage on online, TV, radio, social, it'll just grow the sports from strength to strength. The sponsors are here, it's just to, and the athletes are here, it's just to make sure that they're showcased. Where we sit at the moment, we're really happy in terms of where we place ourselves in the market, the way our online is running, the readership we have. The next step for us is to go more into the eventing and holding our own events. So we're going to try to grow that. Well, we are going to grow that, and by doing that, we're giving more back to the various sports, as well as creating more content for ourselves. So in 2015, we held our second snowboarding comp at Afri-Ski in Lesotho, called Winter Webb, and that was amazing. So the first one was held in 2014. 2015 was massive. We had huge sponsors on board. Sony Xperia was the title sponsor. Club Med came on board and gave the two winners free trips to France to go snowboarding there. Red Bull was involved, Skull Candy, a whole bunch of other various brands, and it was just something massive. So that was probably one of the highlights for us in 2015. now we've just finished our 2016 calendar, so that was it's always a big thing for us, a huge project with great sponsors on board there as well. So that's going in for print at the moment, and it will be sent out to our subscribers. For 2016, our focus will be on just putting more events in, so we'll definitely be holding the snowboarding event to Winter Whip again. We're looking at doing a party/wakeboarding event at the beginning of the year, and something else towards the end of 2016, so that'll be our main focus. And always behind the scenes is going to be LW running, pushing as much content as we can, featuring as much as we can, across all the genres that we feature, and giving back to those as much as we can. It's hard to say what makes us different. I think from our side it's the content. There's not, like I said before, there's not other publications, print or online, that feature as much as we do in terms of our sole or the core of LW Mag is action sports. And we feature all of it. If you look at how much content we put up, it's almost every event that's happening around the country, athlete interviews, features, product features and so on. Then we still have the Babe section, which is one of the biggest parts of our site. We feature up and coming models as well as established models, and they feature as LW Babes once a week. Then we have the music section, the tattoo section. So if you look at that, it's basically a whole lifestyle that evolves around action sports and the people that are in it. And I don't see any other publication doing that or that have done it in South Africa. So from that point of view, we're on the top of our game. I think a lot of people go online and they think it's easy, and they just try put up a blog and run it as a publication, but they don't understand how much actually goes into the back end of it. I think when we moved online, we thought it was that easy, but it's actually not. And there's so much that has to go into the back end of the site in terms of SEO. You have to make sure all your content's original. You can't just copy and paste and put everything up, which a lot of people do. And I think that's what affects them. And the big players on the online side, things like Facebook and Google, control those type of things, and they, your site actually ends up getting flagged as a spam site. So that's something we obviously avoid because we've done it the right way. And I think that's a downfall of other people that have tried to, do something like us. I think we also built a good brand from 2005. So the thing that really helped us is our core advertisers and partners that stuck with us from there all the way through. So guys like Billabong, DC, KTM, John Way, the gaming companies, they've always been there, always advertising, always supporting. So from that point of view, it helps us keep going and do what we do. So at the same time, the content we put up is good original content, which helps grow the hits in the site, and which is something that grows all the time. So as long as I can show that to our clients and partners, they're happy, we're happy, the readers are happy. If anyone looking for LW Mag, the website's lwmag.co.za, Twitter LW_mag, M-A-G, Instagram LW_mag, and Facebook is facebook.com/LWMag. Everything that goes onto the site is pushed through our social networks, so if you're following us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, you'll see what's going up on the site, and you'll be able to click links straight through there, visit the site, check out what you need to, watch the videos, and enjoy the awesome content that we have out there. I'm Ryan van der Spuy, and you're watching ESA.